Good morning, folks, and welcome back to What Lies in the Sunday Telegraph, a weekly exploration of Australia's number one selling newspaper. Today, let me tell you, it is a very thin and sad looking Sunday Telegraph. I strongly suspect some of those long-term ad contracts, like for the travel section, must have started running out, and we're not printing them anymore. So, this is the thinnest looking Sunday paper I've seen in a while. Ooh, not much left there. Maybe I'll get to watch Insiders one day when it finally disappears. So if this is your first time, I'm just going to read the newspaper and make some commentary on what lies within and why they might have made the decisions they made. Periodically, I'll drink some coffee. And that's what we do here. So if that's not to your liking, jog on. Some people do seem to enjoy it, and they're the ones I'm doing it for. So, what do we got here? Afternoon delights. TV ratings grab blows up NRL plan for 3 p.m. grand final. Buzz Rothfield, page 35. By the way, if you're wondering why I'm wearing a beanie and a coat, it's because it's absolutely freezing. Those of you who are still in bed before 9 a.m. on a Sunday, I envy you. There is some editing done to this, which is why it takes me a little while. Obviously, not a lot. And also, Blue Grit, stabbed cop who came back from the dead to crack sad 30-year mystery. Sad 30-year mystery. Okay, and then Harvey Norman has got 2/3 of the page, so their 60 months interest-free sale is obviously more important than anything else. Oh, it's a wraparound. It's a Harvey Norman wraparound. I swear, Harvey, they must be offering him some great deal. Old Jerry. Okay, Harvey. All right, that makes what's left of the paper somewhat sadder. Exclusive finger paint drugs in mail. Prison letters banned after stash found in kids' drawing. Prisoners will be banned from receiving letters, and visitors will undergo full body scans under a security crackdown to stop drugs being smuggled inside. The dramatic changes come as prisoners go to extraordinary lengths to access drugs during the coronavirus lockdown, including hiding substances in finger paintings addressed to Dad. Linda Silmalos reports, page 7. It's funny how no matter how much they crack down on prison security, stuff keeps getting in, and obviously if you were to say it's anything to do with the guards, they get very, very angry about that, so I will not be making that accusation. Get dads to do more housework. Push for men to pitch in as virus wipes out more jobs for women. I can tell you I'm doing a lot of housework around my place. In fact, of my close friends, most of them are working from home and their partners are going out to work, but I grant you it's odd circumstances. Delta Goodrum finds her real self in isolation and creates her Woman album with love of her life. Right. So, well, I'm glad Delta's finally found her real self. Okay, so Crazy Rich Gen next, The Empire's Migrants Built. Your bonus earbuds, page 86, with a 12-month subscription. Where are my earbuds? I think I'm on a 12-month subscription. Oh, no, I'll pay monthly. They're trying to bring some money forward with that, aren't they? Miley Who, Hemsworth brothers hit beach with Liam's new girl. Who'd have thought Liam Hemsworth would eventually move on from Miley Cyrus? Life finds a way, doesn't it? Okay, now we come to the weekly celebration of what's called Mick's Picks, which is the editor's best with editor Mick Carroll. So Mick Carroll has a Sunday paper all week to put this together, and what's the best things Mick thinks are in his paper, because it's always really sad. Why I missed my footy. Jess Yates, a Fox presenter, missed the footy, probably because without it she could be out of a job. Number 2 is more on Delta, on why she has been super strict about lockdown and what has taught her about being herself. It's easy when you've got lots of money, isn't it? Right, when Hollywood's good old boys are just well older, the most famous playboys and party animals celebrate landmark birthdays this year, and we check in to see if age has tamed them. What pooch is your perfect match? We size up the best canine breeds to suit your personality. That's a bad way to choose a dog, really. I mean, your personality. The dog will change your personality. What you need is, do you have a backyard? How often can you walk them? How much attention can you give them? Are you willing to let them into the bed? Anywho, travel 2021 and beyond. What does that even look like? Our experts look into their crystal ball for the newest trends, best destinations, and biggest deals. Yeah. Book that deal now for the 2021 travel. Good luck. Right, then Annika Smethurst tells us that I cried until I had no more tears left. Sunday Telly political editor Annika Smethurst on the police raids that changed her life. I mean, don't get me wrong, it sounded extremely unpleasant, but Annika blubbing about the cops going through her underpants is getting a little old in my view. Right, more on the right. Step aside the crazy rich Asians. Sydney has its own uber wealthy clique of second generation migrants who have built their own empires. You feel it's one thing for Asians to make jokes about crazy rich Asians. It's another for the institutional racists of the Sunday Telegraph to throw that around. But here we are. Each street special: how to feed your sweet tooth in isolation without having to cook it yourself. I don't know. Get it delivered. Just fire up Deliveroo and get some gelato in. Pretty simple. Not sure it needs to be in a newspaper. Jack Morford tells us 6,000 risk HSC fail. I mean, New South Wales' obsession with the HSC really is something. Okay, so this is the compulsory literacy and numeracy testing that a number of students have not yet passed. They do get more cracks at it. And frankly, literacy and numeracy, I mean, I don't know how tough the tests are, but you'd think they're a good thing to have. So Liam Hemsworth is now with Gabriella Brooks, and she has gone, I don't know if she's gone surfing, she's gone to the beach with the Hemsworths when they go surfing. It's exciting, isn't it? Ban to bonking with benefits to avoid $3 billion NDIS blowout. A financial sex bomb is threatening the sustainability of the NDIS amid fears of a $3 billion blowout in prostitute bills. Yeah, the sex workers were certainly very keen to get in on the sex therapy. And I'm not saying it's not a real thing or definitely not a real need, but wheelchairs and physical therapy might, if you have to prioritise, and in this imperfect world we do. Anyway, Stuart Roberts is onto it. I'm sure he'll do an incredibly expensive and unfair approach. That's what he does. Right, coronavirus prison bid to stamp out drugs in males. I don't quite understand why that's got a coronavirus strap. I mean, look there it is, coronavirus prison bid. Just slapping coronavirus news on everything. Wage rage as New South Wales hires 150 more fat cats. The New South Wales government has bloated its public service ranks of senior executives, almost 150 extra mandarins added to its ranks in the past year. I mean, no analysis of what they actually do or... more I love my footy. So they found someone who doesn't work for Fox to say they love footy, which is a step up from last week. I think they just made this dude up with a random picture they nicked off Facebook. Sure. Right, Harvey Norman's flogging MacBook Pros for $2,000, which seems a lot. More under the coronavirus strap. This is actually about coronavirus, though, so progress. Apparently the virus is killing jobs for mums, which is funny because it's directly underneath. They've got a picture of a lot of women not socially distancing and waving wine glasses in the air, looking like they're having a high old time. Apparently this was at the Bondi Hardware Bistro, which obviously should be shut down for this inappropriate distancing. Here's cheers to eating out and weddings for 10. Tony Dart described the first sips of freedom in Bondi, saying those first drinks felt better than Lego. Ms. Dart, who's one of the women. Look, I'm going to show you. I mean, come on, people. It's not what it's meant to be about. So apparently women's jobs are being wiped out twice as fast. I didn't know we still had gendered jobs, but the worst hit industries are female dominated. Michaela Cash is flagging a push for bosses to allow more men to work from home permanently so more women can get back into jobs. Which is kind of where my own social circles seem to be in a funny way. Right, it's too risky to sell to China, says Annika Smethurst. Australian businesses should reassess the risk of selling goods to China in the light of ongoing trade tensions. It's pretty weird. Obviously, there's a lot of weird things going on, aren't there? But in particular, it's weird that we've let the Americans egg us on into this fight with China, and then the Chinese are slapping restrictions on our beef and barley, which is what the Americans also want to sell to China. So we've let the Americans egg us on into a fight, which the Americans are then using to steal our trade access, which really makes us look pretty honkin' dumb, doesn't it? But sure, let's do some more anti-China rhetoric from Annika. Okay, kids home training. You got to go to dailytelegraph.com.au for this, but get kids lockdown fit with the stars of the sofa. Cool. I need the Telegraph for that. Local parks can be built sooner under new laws. Hundreds of roads, public parks and footpaths and other community facilities will be built more rapidly following landmark changes from the state government. So councils will have more flexibility in how they spend infrastructure contributions. So more I Love My Footy, this time from Supercoach Addict, who has the Twitter handle, I believe, of @NRLSCAddicts. That sounds like someone who works for the Telegraph, because they're little Supercoach, like the KFC Supercoach. It's basically fantasy football. So, Linda Silmalis tells that welfare cheats may get 10 years. 2 young women are facing up to 10 years in prison after they allegedly used 25 assumed identities to try to claim thousands of dollars of bushfire and job seeker payments. Oh well, good. That's outright fraud. I hope they get the book thrown at them. Right, and then we have the True Grit heroes behind murder arrest revealed. Cold case breakthrough team was a stab detective and his 2 steadfast mates. So there's a press release that Ben Pike's regurgitated here about Ausgrid sending out helicopters to inspect power lines. You'd think in this era of cheap drones, a helicopter is an unbelievably expensive way to do this, but I mean, yeah, if I got to zoom around in a helicopter all day for a living, I'd be reckon it was great as well. Angus Taylor has convinced Smallwarry Council to upgrade the roads around his house with black spot funding. It could actually be the least grotty thing Angus Taylor's ever done. It could be totally coincidental. So we're back to the Black Summer, and everything's gone, but it's a brand new start. Hope and Bulldozers lead Coast rebirth. It has been noted in places like Cobargo that only the looming Eden-Monaro by-election has suddenly got the Bulldozers at work in their neighbourhood. Okay, so Joe Atanasio, who I haven't seen before, has an article on concerns slow app adoption, distrust in the government, and safety concerns. The main reasons Australians are hesitant to download the COVID Safe app, a survey has found. Yeah, well, what's most annoying on that is you've got a whole bunch of InfoSec warriors saying, oh, it's not safe. And, you know, by their standards, Facebook isn't safe either. And yeah, they're probably right, but it's just convenient. We'll use it anyway. Like Neil Stevenson said, some days we just want to go to Disneyland. Now, Titans to 20 million sock shock. Alan Jones and Nine insist health reasons sparked his radio retirement, but the reality is advertisers walked away after Jones' spray at the Kiwi PM, which, as many people have noted, means mad effing witches won. Good for that. Good for the witches. Annette Sharp is, you always know something's up when she's in the front half of the paper. Normally the gossip columnist, but I strongly suspect we're going to see Alan Jones as a YouTube star vlogging dietary supplements, a la Alex Jones in the US, very fast. Joe Atanasio, it's his page. Tradies see first signs of renewed demand after lockdown losses. Most tradies I know have been actually hard at work going in and out of people's houses through this whole thing. Flood of apartment approvals for the north. 3 major rezoning proposals for Sydney's lower North Shore have been approved by the state government, bringing at least 500 new apartments into the area. Right, so Bassam Hamzi, the state's most notorious inmate, has been left with a hefty legal bill after losing a string of lawsuits against corrective services. He is unhappy about his lodgings in Goulburn Prison. Supermax. Story of Wuhan life. Someone's written a diary. Big ad for the NBN, trying to tell us how to use our Wi-Fi modems because they reckon that's the problem, not the NBN. Could well be. Apparently there's been an influx of applications from brands to use the Australian-made logo. And then we've got some real estate news of crappy houses in Randwick going for 1.3 million. Darlinghurst for 3.6. I mean, they're just knockdowns, aren't they? Just buying the land. Little auctions, big profits from your real estate. It's the Sydney way. Photos to show volunteers. Joe Ignacio is everything. Mushroom poisonings. This is a problem when people are looking to feed themselves. And yeah, certainly there's a bunch of death caps out around my place. Right, an exclusive tale from the dad of the daughter maimed by mum and the things he wants you to know about the bravery of little Alicia. Now we've got the second gen super rich, the Sydney Scions. Stephanie Angus and Emerald Onisferu. Stephanie Malouf, Ash Tavakoli, Michael Coombs, Jin Lin, Ellie Malouf. The Malouf name's coming up a bit, isn't it? Nikki Oatley. Don't know how Rob Oatley counts as a... Sure, Peter Manitus, Poppy, Ned, Jake and Toby O'Neill, Daniel Tartak, Josh Lowy. Sure, I guess the second generation immigrant. They all seem, not all of them, but yeah, anyway, let's move on. Release the cows to help fight fire. Oh, here we go. Farmers would be allowed to graze cows in national parks to reduce ground fuel should research show it is an effective way to avoid the high intensity of last summer's bushfire. So the research does not show it. They're hoping they can find research that will show it. And the farmers want to put their, they want free pasture. And fundamentally, cows are not part of native flora and fauna and should not be in national parks. So get stuffed, farmers. Get stuffed, The Telegraph and Linda Salmalis for writing that junk. Joe Atanasio is back with the great leap forward for rare leopards. 2 clouded leopard cubs have been imported into Australia for the first time. So this is a media release from which zoo? Oh, the Wildcat Conservation Centre in Wilberforce. Okay. Right, escorts are back on the job, but brothels still shut, Ben Pike reports. Escorts are spruiking their corona-free credentials and working from home in an effort to stimulate businesses during the pandemic. A little stimulus into a sex worker's story, aren't they clever? So motoring on, we come to the snitch. This is the Law and Order gossip, which apparently, instead of talking about what lawyers are up to, we're having a little poke into the life of female corrections officer Melissa Goodwin. Who they got some good pictures of her social media, and she's accused of having a association, allegedly sparking up a relationship with an inmate. So apparently the courts are thinking about coming back, although they're still saying they won't be doing anything till November unless it's by video link. Okay, and a prominent Sydney lawyer has apparently got a Nomads gang vest hanging on his office chair, which has had some people saying stuff. Okay, so we've got the amazing story of the mums and babies who lived, a donor who died to help them, and their extraordinary medical team. Pretty sure the donor didn't have a lot of choice in the subject, which doesn't diminish the importance of organ donation, but, Joe Atanasio's also got more about sugar gliders around Lake Macquarie. Wow, we got a promo from Amy Hamris for a mummy blog. It's the Not So Mumsy blog. It's a safe space for women to share struggles. We've got more promo for Gary Jubilin's true crime podcast, I Catch Killers. Really should be marked as advertising and build, shouldn't it? World News is wrapping around the sport today. And this is the story of Fang Fang, the Wuhan diarist. So, forced to watch their loved ones tied up in a body bag, those barbarous Chinese. An astonishing amount of sport, considering once again there hasn't been any. Hugh Jackman's in a Foxtel show called Bad Education. Destination trends for 2021 and Riverside sites in Adelaide in the travel section. So we're talking about cricket matches from 1983. Back to world news. So we've got the horror story in Brazil where one of the creepiest men alive, Jair Bolsonaro, the president, is trying to outdo Trump for the worst coronavirus response in the world. Donald Trump's declared we're going to have warp speed for the vaccine, which is sounds like a good way to kill people, doesn't it? And destroy faith in vaccinations. Jesus, I mean, what do they call it? Hasten slowly. Don't skip any steps. Okay, we must break Google. US officials to turn the blowtorch on online giants' monopoly. William Barr is deciding whether to pursue an antitrust case against Google by the summer. This is, I suspect, because News Limited furious that Google's stealing their lunch. Okay, so there's a story about France, and there's pictures of people sitting by the Seine. Lots of them in large groups, not distanced. But the virus cases are still dropping. Well, it's going to be another couple of weeks before we see any uptick from these gatherings. Yemen is facing a health crisis. Dateline Sana'a, which is always a little joy to see. But I mean, the civil war is obviously a far worse thing. Won't see any criticism of the Saudis in these pages. And so we turn to Peter Credlin. Watch Peter on Sky News. She says it's the real test we cannot fail. The coronavirus hasn't changed the nature of the Chinese regime, but has made it much more obvious. Oh, so China bashing. Great. And some Team Australia garbage in there. So thumbs up to my colleague and good friend Alan Jones AO. After 35 years and a record 206 ratings wins, radio will be the poorer for his absence. Generous to a fault, a true polymath, and a man who never forgot growing up the son of a battler dairy farmers. He has a rare ability to speak, and for so many. Full stop. That's right. Thumbs down to Cameron Dick, the Queensland Treasurer, because he's bidding for Virgin, and he's Labor, so he's bad. Peter Gleeson, never to be confused with Peter Credlin, although it's funny, they used to share a page, now they're over the page, they're still on the same bit of print. He's going on the anti-vaxxers in the NRL, no jab, no brain for NRL, so at least he's not wrong for once, but it's a bit obvious. Lucy Carn's having a go at the wives and girlfriends. Sonny Bill Williams has said he's proudly pro-vaccination, which it's a weird hill to die on, isn't it? Right. Piers Ackerman says the left needs to stop cuddling up to China or this evil panda will bite them. Evil panda. Nice one, Piers. Claire Harvey is having another go at Bryce Cartwright, the anti-vax NRL player. She says, so now it's time for Bryce Cartwright and his wife Chanel to choose. Are they ethically opposed to vaccination or are they allergic to it? Yes. Right. So the editorial is saying that the fire recovery still needs some work. And of course, opposite your opinion page, you put your celebrity gossip real estate page, don't you? Weirdly, The Source, the political gossip with Annika and Linda, is coming after the opinion page. So they've done quite a reorganisation. Labor MP Walt Seckard has got engaged to Julia Levitina. Good for them. Gladys is planning a cabinet reshuffle. So there's plenty of dead weight in that ministry, isn't there? Old photos. Eat Street hibernation. This will take the cake. So, places that home deliver. Great. Barefoot's warning that scammers are out there. Health hackers saying you can work on your mental health with what you eat. The star of Offspring, Cat Stewart, is learning about her ancestors. I'm sure that's enriching for her. Angela Mollard is critiquing Nigella Lawson's beef and eggplant fatto, which she says is posh nachos. Duncan Lay notes that there's going to be a Baby Yoda cereal, and then he's making a joke about eating it with forks, as in use the forks. They're really hard up for news this week. And then we have old celebrities are having birthdays, as they do every year. Patrick Tadros notes that we're all getting fat in isolation. Yeah, no joke. I need to get on the exercise machine. For some reason, the watch section is noting that Bird Box is on Netflix, which is hardly new. There's some news coming out of reality TV, but it doesn't seem very useful to anyone. So Annette Sharp is reduced to doing gossip writing about real estate agents. James Weir tells us that Katy Perry's appearance on MasterChef was a tonic for the nation. Katy Perry's been doing a lot of stuff in Australia lately. Kerry Parnell notes that flexible hours are a silver lining for new mums. And also Annette Sharp says there is no way Carl will take over afternoons from Fordo in sudden 2GB shake-up. This is with Fordham taking over Alan Jones' spot. It's hard to care, isn't it? Right, so if you take out a new subscription to the Telegraph, they're promising to give you a $500 set of Sennheiser Momentum true wireless earbuds. But that's digital access, not the paper. There you go, that's the back page. So folks, thank you very much for your company. Sitting through a god-awful paper. The Evil Panda. That's something that will long live in infamy, isn't it? So if you do enjoy this, do please tell any friends you have who might also enjoy it. And otherwise, we'll be back next week. You are the wind beneath my wings. Thank you so much.